Norland.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, Sarah Vin. Hey, Jessica. Hey, Lottie. Good morning.
He's the boy from Bendy and the Ink Machine. You guys remember him?
Hey, Vias. How are you?
Hey, want to see something really old? I kept it somewhere around here. Look.
Good morning.
Look, y'all.
Gaming Squad. Hey.
You guys remember this from the 80s?
So he found a classic Lay's with the old label. Angela. So he thought it's pretty funny. So last night he offers me a chip. Taste it, Mom. Get a taste of what nostalgia is. If you try one of these chips, you're going to have nostalgia. Hey, Lily. So he thought it was pretty funny getting like a chip bag from the 80s. He thought, you know.
We still have Lay's right here.
And we have the regular Lay's. That's true.
We have the 21
hey,
Lay's.
how are you? Is it Brahma? Welcome. Hey, Lo, 123 Lo. So we are doing good. How are you?
I'm kind of good. I would play Half-Life Chapter 2, and I have a YouTuber called Danny.
I like you and Timothy. So you're going to have to enunciate today. If you're going to be on my Q&A, people have to understand you. All right? Hi, Amber.
Okay.
Hey, Ab Hishik. I know you haven't had speech therapy this last year because of COVID. So people used to have a better time understanding you. Hey, Jarrell. Hey, Lonely Dragon. Hey, The Investigator. So today, enunciate. All right?
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, for information, today is Father's Day.
Yep, today is Father's Day, and that's why we're letting Dad sleep in. So, we'll just, before we get started with the Q, I see Jessica, you got a question. A bunch of people are going to be putting in questions. Hey, Caitlin. And we are going to answer them. Whether I answer them or Timothy answers them, we'll see. But first, Frank says, hey, Timothy. Hey, Riley. But first, before we delve into the Q&A, I wanted to ask you guys. Oh, Timmy's trying to promote my other book.
Boris is reading the book, by the way.
Oh, Boris is reading the book. So if you guys don't have a copy of this yet, Poetic Prescriptions for Eternal Youth, you can download it for free by going to poeticprescriptions.com/free book. All right. So before we get into the Q&A and answering your guys' questions, I want to ask you, do you guys think you can change? Do you guys, yeah, that's a question to ponder, isn't it? Do you think you can change? Are you stuck being the person that you turned out to be? If there's something you don't like about yourself, can you change it?
Yes.
You can?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about for a few minutes.
Guys, I have a new video I'm about to upload on YouTube this afternoon. It's called Epic Oreo Challenge. I put Oreo in the milk and it tasted so good.
Okay, so we'll get to your questions in a couple minutes, but I want to ask you guys, do you think you can change? Do you think you're stuck with being the person you wound up being? Wanting to be someone else is a waste of... Yeah, I didn't finish being able to see it, but it's not necessarily wanting to be someone else. If there's something you don't like about yourself, can you change? Well, we're just going to read a couple paragraphs from this book, No More Mr. Nice Guy by Stephen Brown. And then we'll talk about it. Okay. The second implication of the principle of control is this. Not only are what you have decided to be, so that's the first thought that may blow somebody's mind. What you are right now, if you don't like it, is actually a result of something you decided. So you decided to be the person that you are today. Nina says, I can change, but it's hard. Okay. So,
somebody says when I have that book.
You have that book. Oh, cool. Yeah, it's I don't know, it looks like it's from the 70s or 80s. It looks pretty old. Not only are you what you have decided to be, but you can also be different from what you are. recently I was talking to a young man. He came to me because he needed help. He told me he had some friends who had become a bad influence in his life. How many of you have been in situations where your friends were influencing you to do
you play
things?
Fortnite, Timothy? I play sometimes, but then I quit the game for reasons.
We're going to answer questions after we're done talking about this. I know, it's so tempting. It's so tempting. So, bad influence. They liked to go to a particular club where there were plenty of drugs, and even though he promised himself and God he wasn't going to do that anymore, he wasn't going to go to those clubs and do drugs, he couldn't help going there with his friends. He said he tried everything, but it seemed like nothing gave him the strength he needed to stop going to this particular place with his friends and participating with them and taking drugs. How many of you have ever felt like something was impossible for you to stop? Raise your hand. Have you ever felt like something was impossible?
Someone just said about my toy.
Have you ever felt like something was impossible to stop? Okay, maybe it's just me. All right. He expected, so he's talking to this pastor guy. He expected me to give him some scripture or some magic formula that would help him. I simply said, son, why don't you just stop? I can't, he replied. What do you mean you can't? You're the one who goes there. Nobody forces you. You're the one who takes the drugs. Nobody puts a gun to your head and makes you take them. So just stop. The young man smiled and said, you know, nobody ever put it to me that way. 3 weeks later, the young man called and said, Pastor, you gave me the best advice I have ever received. You said stop, and I did. And I haven't touched drugs since I talked to you. Okay. Have you ever thought it could be that easy? Have you ever even considered that something that you're doing that you hate, that you think you can't change, is actually within your power to change? Selena said, I have friends who try to influence me with the bad, but with God, I know what's right and I go by what God says. That's great. Hey, Derek Shapiro. Hey, Riley. So if there's stuff that you're doing in your life that you don't like, that's destructive, you can change that. It's up to you. It's up to you to make the decision. I know people who've tried to quit smoking for years and years and years, and they would try like the nicotine patches and they would try all different other kinds of methods, but it's not until you make that decision in your mind that a switch gets flipped and then you don't do it anymore. Like I used to go drink alcohol with my friends and we would go to clubs and we would go dancing and all that kind of stuff. And then I had this encounter with God, and then it was like suddenly I didn't want to drink every time we went to the club. Suddenly I was the only sober one. See, I had a list of stories I was telling myself, like I can't let loose if I don't have alcohol, I can't dance. I got to get a couple drinks in me before I can go on the dance floor. Like I had all these stories I was telling myself. So question is, what stories are you telling yourself that makes it so you don't want to change, or makes it so you think you can't change when nobody is holding a gun to your head and making you do what you do? Now, obviously, I saw a comment that said somebody said it's harder for them because they have some mental challenges or brain chemistry stuff, and we had to deal with that with Timothy, right? Timothy used to.
Timothy is bored? Nah, I'm not bored.
Timothy had a lot of behavior that was destructive. Timothy he would hit himself. He would throw himself on the ground.
Once upon a time, I owned this organ called Bendy the Incubus, and it was not very good. And
he was under the bad influence of some video games that maybe caused some behavioral issues, made him act out. But when he stopped playing the video game, And, you know, we got him on some medicine that helped with his chemistry in his brain.
I moved on to this new home game called Hello Neighbor.
Okay. So anyway, he's not doing some of the stuff. So yes, some of it is just a decision and we decide, but some of it, yeah, you may have to get certain medicine. But whatever you need to do, if you really want to stop, you know, doing something and doing something more productive, you can do it. You have the choice. You can get help. You can ask for help. Okay. All right, so we're ready to answer your questions now. How about the change? You got to change. Can you be more specific with what you mean? Good morning, Orly. Hey, Angela. She says, you're awesome, Timmy. Shouldn't we try to accept ourselves and not want to change? Nina, there's a lot we should accept and try to change. But right now, I'm speaking a lot about...
Well, how old is Timothy? 14.
Yeah, it's 13. But I'm not speaking about like, oh, I wish I was 5 inches taller, or I wish I had different colored eyes. I'm talking about if you are acting in a certain way, if you have a certain behavior or something you think or feel about yourself, and that's something you could change. If how you're behaving and what you think about yourself and say about yourself is destructive, or it's not leading you on the right path, then it's something you should work on changing. So let me know if that makes sense, or if you have more questions about that. Okay, what was the habit that you used to do that took forever to change? I think it was not believing in myself, not feeling like I was worthy enough. Timmy, did you have any kind of behaviors you were trying to change for a long time? And
Like, for example, if I'm playing Roblox back in the way old days, I used to throw fits, and Mommy said, you're banned from Roblox until you start throwing fits. And I moved on to this game called Raccoons, which is very 100% legit. I put my age, I had a junior account, etc. Now I'm 13, I now hear a lot about words. I don't want to say these words. So I moved on to Final Fantasy games, and so I quit Roblox for like 7 months or so.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys could understand. I mean, you got to be able to enunciate your words better. But he was basically saying when he was playing Roblox a lot, he was throwing fits. So he had to get banned from that so he wouldn't throw fits anymore. So sometimes your behavior and things you want to change is influenced by outside things. Then he moved on to a game called Rec Room, but he noticed there was a lot of swear words in it, so he moved on to another game. So he was able to recognize when something was affecting him. I recognized the Roblox thing because he would get crazed and obsessive about it. Okay, some games make us angry when we lose.
Like Dylan losing Fortnite. Oh, yeah.
His friend got really angry when he lost the game. What do you feel when acting? What's the experience like? You know, it's different each time. I don't think there's like one overall feeling, except now maybe if I had to pick an overall feeling, I would say gratefulness, because I had a lot of jobs in my life that I didn't really like and that weren't fun, like working at McDonald's, working at a pizza place, working at a dry cleaners, working on 2 different factories on an assembly line, parking cars. That was kind of fun because it was at private parties and get to drive all these cool cars. But the acting has been my most fun job. That and speaking. What happens if someone doesn't have the willpower to change? Sorry, I didn't get to see the end of that. Well, you know, willpower, see, you have to want it bad enough. There's a lot of things that come with that. So it has to be something that you really want to do, because you know, if it's
fans are angry right now.
Oh, they're just gonna have to be angry because I can't answer 20 questions in 1 minute. So I'll answer the ones I can answer. So if it's willpower seems to increase when you really, really want to do something, and sometimes you have to peel back the layers.
Wait. Somebody said I'm playing Minecraft. Yeah, I do, but I lost my Minecraft game and I had to move on to Minecraft Dungeons, which is a spin-off.
So sometimes having the willpower comes down to you may have to peel back the layers and ask yourself a bunch of questions like, why do I want to change? Why is this important to me? What, this may be a longer question that we can answer at another time. Maybe we should write that one down. Email me that question and I'll do a separate video on it, okay? All right, what can I do? Sorry, I missed that. Timmy's 13. Okay.
I do play Among Us. Thank you for answering that question. I play sometimes though, so yeah, basically I play on mobile, but I never play on the PC.
Thank you, Nev. Oh, they want to know what your Roblox username is.
Timmy Toeblocks.
Timmy Toeblocks. That's TIMMY TO.
Do you play GTA? No, that's an inappropriate game. We don't talk about that. No, that's an inappropriate game.
So it's TIMMY TOBLOX. Okay, so Alan wants you to play Roblox again. Okay, so questions that I didn't get to, you can re-put in at this time. What did you used to think acting was about before you started doing it?
Okay, fine. I'll play Roblox again. Jeez.
So what did I think acting was like before I did it? I'm not really sure if I had any preconceived notions. I know when you're not in the industry, sometimes you think you'll get into it and then you'll become famous and you'll have like red carpets and fancy cars and mansions. I think that's kind of what a lot of people think. I don't know if I really thought that. I mean, in my mind, I wondered if something like that would happen to me, but it hasn't. And we've been doing this for 20 years, so I don't know if that's in my path. I don't know if that's in my future. But all I knew is it was something that I enjoyed and it would be fun to do more of. Okay, someone wants to know how you deal with hate. Is this from people in like real life or people online?
Oh no, there's a bot in the server right now.
There's a bot? Who's the one? Is there somebody doing something?
Look.
Oh, because they put it in twice?
Yeah.
Okay, so United Kingdom. Okay. All right. So I got moderators and they're dealing with this, so don't worry. They'll make sure we're okay. So Mike says, please help me. What do you need help with? And a lot of spammers here. I think there's a lot of spammers because a lot of people on here are young kids, like age 9 to 13.
Yeah, and they're like,
and they have self-control issues. Okay, so dealing with hate. Don't take advice from someone you wouldn't trade places with, and don't accept insults from someone you don't admire. If the person giving you hate isn't somebody you even look up to, then why listen to it? Why bother? Don't let it influence you. Just ignore it. Realize they must have some issues if they're bothering you, and just move on. It's not worth your time. If it's somebody you care about and admire and they're saying something to you that you don't really like.
Tommy, do you play Bloxburg? Sometimes. Sometimes I do. I got Robux back in the day, so I logged that game.
So if it is somebody you admire and they give you some advice that people don't really like, or that you don't really like, then I need you to be big enough and strong enough to go to them and ask them, hey, you said I wasn't very good at playing the piano. What did you mean by that? Because, I've been practicing a long time and I really enjoy it. And if they're asked to explain what they mean by that, they might have just been having a bad day when they said that. Or they might have one constructive piece like, you pound on the keys too heavy on this one part. They may give you some constructive criticism, but find out what they mean. But if they're saying something like, just general, like, oh, your playing is just terrible, well, you know what? That's okay. That's their opinion.
Somebody's awake.
That's their opinion. And yeah, we found out Eli just woke up. Whatever you do, your gifts and your talent aren't going to appeal to everybody. So, but you don't have to please everybody. Certain fans are going to like you. All right, Frank wants to know if you've ever played chess.
Sometimes.
You have? Who'd you play chess with? Oh,
Actually,
hi. Good morning.
Hi.
Oh, okay. I want to know who on the live stream has epic bedhead like this. Who on the live stream looks like this when they wake up?
Hi, Timmy.
Okay, let's see. It's nice for parents to tell their kids that a certain hobby is destroying them. Is it nice? Oh, well, I guess you'd have to be more specific. But I think sometimes you can have hobbies that might be destructive to you. Depends on what you're talking about. What do I do? Sorry, I missed it. How can I deal with depression? Oh, that's a big one. I don't think I could just answer that like in a minute. I also think I would need to know more details on what you're dealing with. So, someone wants to know how I met Dhar. I met him because I was doing, I was shooting for him, and he happened to be on set at the end of the day. When we started working for Dhar Mann, he didn't have the big studio he has now. He just had a penthouse where he operated his live glam business out of during the day, and then his film stuff at night. So we usually had to wait till their employees were all done for the day from the live glam company, and then we would go in and act. But sometimes we'd get there and they were still finishing up their work. So that's how I met Dhar. He was still working on his live glam business when I came to act for him. So yeah. Happy Father's Day, Francesca says. All right. Have you ever had people that were a bad influence on you? Oh yeah. Should I ever give up? Maybe. Someone's asking if you should ever give up. I'm saying maybe.
No.
Timmy's saying no, but I'm saying maybe. Yeah. Maybe you should give up. Depends on what you're talking about giving up. Giving up self-doubt? Yep. Giving up feeling like you're not worthy? Yep. Give that up. Giving up destructive behavior? Yep. Give that up. Give up on your dream that you love? No. Give up on a dream that you don't really care about anymore? Yep. Give that up. Give up impressing other people? Yep. Give that up. Give up doing what makes you happy? Nope. Don't give that up. Never give up on kids. That's right. Beautiful family you have. Thank you, Sergio. Oh, you want some crackers? Okay. You said something about a limited people. Oh, in a Q&A, can you explain more about that? I haven't started putting that together yet, but I'm hoping maybe next week I'll have more information on that. It just depends. So there were so many people that want to talk to me and ask me questions during this live stream that I can't get to them. So I don't know if you guys saw on Instagram, I was announcing that I'm going to do like a private, kind of an insider group of just a limited number of people so everyone can get their questions answered. And it's not going to be a free like this one. There will be a small charge for me doing that. So if you're serious, there will be a fee. So just letting you know, I don't know what that's going to be yet. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know what platform it's going to be on yet. But if you're interested in that, I'll have more details on that later. Okay, can you describe the experience you had with change? Okay. It depends on, I mean, I've changed so many things in my life. I've changed so many things about me. The hardest thing to change was my thought life. The hardest thing to change was my brain. So
He said, "Can I meet you?"
sometimes it's easier than other times to change. Sometimes it's really hard to change. I've changed my diet. I've changed my circle of friends.
Are you sad for Carl?
Yeah. I am sad. I am sad about Carl. But I know he's in a better place. I know he's probably not sad and sorry for us. I mean, in the sense that he would probably rather be where he is now than here, for sure. Okay, how many times were you told you couldn't be an actress in Hollywood because they said you weren't enough? I don't know, like 987 times. Something like that. Okay, Timothy, which is your favorite subject in school?
Math, I'm assuming. I don't know.
Math? Since when?
I don't know what my favorite subject is.
I was like, do you even do your math?
I fail all my classes coming back. Mommy's very upsetting. Mommy's very
Is that
upset.
your impression of me?
Yeah, Mommy's very upset.
So he says he failed some of his classes, and then I was very upset and went. I don't think I've ever done that, but that's a nice character of me. How is it like to have two different colored eyes? I don't know. It was kind of annoying growing up because people would always point it out, and I had low self-esteem. So when I would go places and people would start pointing at me, or hey, telling friends, come look at her, I felt like a science experiment or a freak show or something. There's another person that said they're not good with math either. How do you deal with family depressions? What do you mean by that?
I'll be right back, y'all.
Okay. What do you mean by family depressions? Lily said she grew up in Asia and always had good grades. Jessica, am I going to have more kids? No, I don't think so. Maybe I'll adopt. Maybe I'll adopt a girl or something. I don't know. I just don't even have time. I don't have time to do all the stuff I want to do. So I don't know if I want to add more to my plate. So if I have another child, that will mean I'll probably write like 40 less books in my lifetime. I'm so far behind in my writing. You guys, I have like 30 books I want to write. And I'm struggling to get out one book a year.
Eli's trying Doritos taco flavor.
Did you give that to him? Yeah. You should give him a nutrition bar. You should not give him chips for breakfast. What kind of a big brother gives their little brother chips for breakfast?
It's so
Here, let's wipe your drool off. Wipe your drool off. Okay.
Look,
Hey, Verity.
like I'm showing you.
It's okay. Exna. Timmy is too. There's quite a few people on this live. You know, we've got quite a few people that are autistic. There's nothing to be ashamed of. How did you feel about meeting the royalty family? You know, they were nice. They were sweet people. Did that one come out yet? I don't think I've seen that one. I don't think that one came out yet. How did you feel about meeting the royalty family? Oh, we just answered that. They were nice. I think they were a little, I don't know if they were nervous. They just seemed preoccupied, like that they had a lot on their mind. And maybe they're not used to like memorizing scripts. So I think they were just in their own world doing their own thing, and their mind was on a bunch of different stuff. Is it rude for parents to say that their child's favorite hobby is destroying them? For example, if the child likes piano, they say to you in anger, piano is destroying you. Well, why would they say the piano is destroying you? What does that mean? Were you being like obsessive about the piano? Were you, I'm not sure what you mean by that. I don't know how piano could destroy you. Was it your mindset around the piano where you just wanted to do it so much that you didn't care about anything else? If you get too obsessive about something, it can destroy it. Are you tired? You're tired? No, you're just yawning for no reason. How do you stop self-harming or destruction? Jessica?
Why didn't Eli sleep?
Don't worry, we'll talk about that later. I feel like that's a deeper conversation, but for starters, you need to start treating yourself the way you would treat other people. And you need to start loving yourself the way that you would love other people. Now, if you had somebody you really, really cared about in your life, a baby sister, baby brother, a best friend, your mom, somebody that you really loved, would you want them to be cutting themselves? Or would you want them to be harming themselves or doing something that's not good for them? Probably not, right? So that's how you need to treat yourself. You need to treat yourself like someone you love and you cherish. So if you're not doing that, you need to do that. You know, when the disciples asked Jesus what the greatest commandment was, he at first quoted from the Old Testament. That's what he always quoted from. And he said, to love God with all your heart, your soul, and your mind, which is what the Old Testament says. And then he added to that, and he said it's also to love your neighbor as you love yourself. So if you are loving yourself as you would love your neighbor, you would not do to yourself, okay, hey Eli, you would not do to yourself the things that you don't do to your neighbor. Right? So if you wouldn't go over to your neighbor, your best friend, your little brothers, and start cutting them, then you need to not be cutting yourself. Or if you wouldn't overdose them on pills, or if you wouldn't force them to overeat, or if you wouldn't say nasty things and destructive things to them, then you need to not do that to yourself, because in order to love yourself as you love others, you have to treat yourself the way you would treat others. Visor says, hey, Timothy. He's the one that actually requested you to be on the Q&A. He's one of the ones that requested that you be on the Q&A. I think he's 9. I think that's what someone told me. Okay, so what type of role will you be playing in the royalty family? It's not a nice character. Has there been any Dhar Mann videos or messages you disliked or disagreed with? A couple, but I don't like to focus on the negative. I mean, out of like 300 videos they've done, there's maybe been 1 or 2. I'd rather focus on the positive though. So I did finally create a TikTok account, but I've never posted anything on it.
I also created a TikTok account, which you can follow me at Timothy John Norland. Timothy
John Norland is Timothy's TikTok account. Mine's either Katherine Norland or Kat Norland. I don't even know. Careful, Eli. Can you please tell me how I should respond to a bully? I don't know if you should respond to a bully. You know, it really depends on the situation. So, Q&A with Eli. First, he has to speak in intelligible words and sentences. Sometimes you shouldn't even respond to them at all. So I don't know what your specific situation is, so it's hard for me to give you advice because it may not match your situation. Everyone has something individually going on. Okay, good. All right, so if anybody has had a question that I haven't answered yet, Raj, I'm an actress and I don't tell my age, so maybe someday I will. I don't know. Okay, who's your favorite Dhar Mann actors? Top 3. That's really hard. There's so many good ones. Who's your favorite Dhar Mann actor, Timothy?
I don't know.
You don't know? Do you know any of their names? Do you know any of them?
No.
Okay. I mean, you guys asked me this 2 weeks ago and I started to name some, and then you brought up some other names and I was like, oh yeah, they're excellent too. So it's really hard to narrow down to 2. Okay. Do you need a new friend? Well, it's really hard to take on new friends because the time factor. I can't give, I'm scheduled like morning, noon, and night. I barely ever have any downtime. So I feel like if I take on any more friends, I'm going to be not a very good friend because I won't be able to keep up with being a good friend. Anyway, you know, you really in life only need like a small, tiny core group of really good friends. You don't need to have tons of friends. All right. Do I like Mair from Dhar Mann? She's a fun gal. She's sweet. She's kind. She's funny. Yeah, I can't really think of anything I don't like about Mair. Okay. Let's see. My friend has no friends.
Hi, Master is great.
And has been bullied her entire life. I always try to support you. Thank you for doing that. Katherine, hint, scroll back up to the comments you missed. Yeah. Timothy, do you like online learning or do you like going to school?
I like going to school, except when I made a mistake.
Oh, Pick that up, Eli.
Dang it, my spoonie.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you should next time not put it on a diagonal surface. I would love to be friends with Mair. Oh, yeah. She'd be fun to hang out with. Mike says, me too. Okay, last Saturday. Okay, sorry. Did you see the recent one with Julius Lambrecht? Yes, I did see that one with the nosy neighbor.
I'm trying to answer a question.
Oh.
Does Timmy get bullied at school?
Do you get bullied at school?
Nah.
He says he doesn't. I've asked him that too. So I don't know. Are you? But he's not in a regular class. He's in a class with other special people, so probably less chance of getting bullied there. Maybe if you were in class with regular people, you might. You're a regular people, but if you were in a class with people who didn't have learning disabilities, do you think they might pick on you? No? He doesn't think he's ever going to get bullied. Okay, you're too cool to get bullied, someone said. Oh my God, my keyboard is so annoying. Timmy is 13. Did you see the Dhar Mann video with Supercar Blondie? I did. I was also in it. Okay, what is your favorite subject in school? Well, he says he doesn't really have one. Have you changed your mind since you got asked that?
Nah. I'll go back.
Okay. So what are your thoughts on the Supercar Blondie video? I liked it. I like when they do the real life stories because then people know, people can see like real life challenges that people have overcome. Oh, Timmy left. Sorry, Mike. Well, I would say his favorite hobby is playing video games. I know, Verity, you've been bullied. I'm so sorry. You've mentioned that a lot. How are you dealing with that? Are you able to overcome that? Matt says they're subscribed to Supercar Blondie. Do you get noticed a lot in public? I got noticed 3 times yesterday. I was at a film festival. I had a film playing in a festival, and I had 3 different people come up to me. Yeah. So I don't know if that's a lot. That was like in a 6-hour time. So we were out in Hollywood.
Eli stole all the chips.
Eli stole all the chips, but you gave them to him, so how could he steal them? Because you took them off the high counter that he couldn't reach, and you gave him those chips. Okay, I'm sorry to hear about your friend Carl. God rest his soul. Yeah.
Where is boys? Oh, he's right here saying goose.
Lily says, I love biology, science, and history. Which one, let's see. Which one of the kids' best friend duo? Which one of the kid best friend duo is best? I don't know what that means. Oops. Let's see. Where did those go? Are there any new Dhar Mann videos with you in coming out? Yeah, I think there's at least one. There's at least one coming out, and I'm shooting 2 this week, and I'm shooting 1 next week. I think there's 1 or 2 still coming out that I'm in. I shoot them and then I forget because I've got so much on my plate that, you know, if I only did like 1 every once in a while, I would probably remember. But yeah. Have you made slime before?
Hi.
Hi, Eli.
Sometimes. I had this slime back in the day, then I lost it.
You had slime back in the day and you lost it. Okay. Fun fact, it's night here in the Philippines. I know.
Is Boris Timothy's comfy toy? Yes, he's my best friend. But
what? I'm going to tell Clifford. Clifford has been your best friend for like 12 years. Now you're saying Boris is your best friend?
I'm sorry. I just said to betray Clifford.
So, Timmy, what's your nickname?
Toblox.
Toblox. Toblox. Toblox. And tell him how you came up with that name.
Wrestling name, actually.
It's his wrestling name. So I was working on a wrestling show. I shot a wrestling pilot 7 years ago, and then they were trying to revamp and redo the wrestling show called Glow. So there was this famous all-female wrestling show in the 1980s called Glow. I had never heard of it, obviously, till I auditioned for the show with the same creators and got a part. Then they tried to revamp the wrestling show.
And then Netflix was like, let's do new plans.
Oh yeah, then Netflix swooped in and took the Glow name. So we were calling ourselves Flow, Fabulous Ladies of Wrestling, instead of Glow, Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. And then I used to take Timmy to practice with me, to wrestling practice sometimes.
Yeah, since your COVID go around, Mommy's like, I'm not interested in Flow anymore.
So Timmy would come with me to wrestling practice, and he gave himself we all had wrestling names as wrestlers. And Timmy gave himself the name Toe Blocks. That was his wrestling name. Oh no, your brother passed away. I'm so sorry, Sergio. Verity says, I think about all the people who care about me, and I watch Dhar Mann to calm me down. I'm glad you have some ways to comfort yourself. People try to push me down the school stairs and tell me I look like a pirate.
I'm sorry, Mom. I've been Tiffany's calling me for some reason.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
I'm so sorry you've had to deal with that. You know, you should really tell a teacher if your safety is being affected, or an adult or a grown-up. So Timmy is 13. Is the mask mandate over where you live? Well, so I went to the mall yesterday, and I saw all the signs up saying you had to have your mask on. So I had it on for a hot second. And then I saw a bunch of people that didn't have their mask on, so I took it off. I went to the movie theater. It said you gotta have your mask on. So I put it on for a hot second, but then I saw these people in there that didn't have it on. So I think individual businesses are still deciding whether you should wear a mask or not. And supposedly what I heard is you don't have to wear a mask if you've been vaccinated. So that's a whole nother discussion. So I did not wear my mask for most of the day yesterday, even though I was out in public with a bunch of people. Okay, can you say mahal kayo? Mahal kayo. For Philippines, it practically means I love you all. Hope I said that right. Okay, my grandfather's hospitalization, he's alone. Please pray for him, Katherine, I beg of you. Mike, I will pray for your grandfather. Do you guys want to say a quick prayer for his grandfather now? Dear Heavenly Father, I just thank you that you will come into that room, make him feel like he's not alone. Bring your spirit and your presence into that place. Make him feel loved. Comfort him in a warm embrace and heal his entire body from the top of his head to the soles of his feet, to the tips of his fingers and the palms of his hands and everything in between. I pray every cell in his body lines up in the perfection that you created to function. In your name we pray. Amen.
I got beaten up by Stefan for not trusting him anymore.
Yeah, Clifford was jealous that you say Boris is your best friend now. Okay, let's see. By the way, is he COVID? Is who COVID? I'm your biggest fan. Please give me a shout out. Hey, Sajul. Sajul, did I say your name right? Sajal. I'm sorry if I didn't say your name right. Come to Australia. It's 2 a.m. here. My son's awake because he's teething. Oh, how sweet. Teething's a rough period. Does Timmy have a girlfriend? Are you interested in girls? Not yet. Come on, get that drool off your face. Okay, Katherine, you are so good at acting. Thank you so much. Dhar Mann should make a video on mask shaming. That seems to be a new problem as people get vaccinated. Yeah, I noticed that a lot here in California. People, like, even if I'm just going for a walk outside in the fresh air, I'm nowhere near around any other people, certainly not 6 feet. And I just want some fresh air when I go for a walk. I know people giving dirty looks.
Ow!
But when we were in Colorado, nobody was wearing masks a couple weeks ago.
Ow! Ow!
Hey, Eli, be kind.
Ow, you hit my hand.
And there wasn't mask shaming like there is in California. So I think it depends on the state. I think it depends on which way, if they lean left or right. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay, under 60s are getting the Pfizer vaccine. Okay. Do you want to have mainstream fame? I used to think I wanted that, but honestly, I don't know what's best for me. So I just trust God. I put it in his hands and I say, God, I want everything that you want for me and nothing that you don't want for me. I'm tired of making my own plans and my own decisions and saying, I know what's best for me. Because I don't. I don't know the beginning from the end. God, who created us, knows everything that's supposed to happen in our life, and we shouldn't fight back against it because he wants to give us a better life. He wants to give us a future and a hope, and we can trust that the plans he has for us are for good and not for evil, to give us a future and a hope, right? Like Jeremiah, the book of Jeremiah says. So if you just open and you just get in the stream, just get in the river, get in your inner tube and just flow down the river with God, life is so much easier. But if you're trying to fight back and swim against the stream and keep fighting back and thinking my way is the right way, you're going to get disappointed a lot, truly. It's annoying when people ask why you have heterochromia. I don't think it's annoying, but I just think people are curious about what they have never seen, or, people want to ask things. It's like if you're in a wheelchair, every single day you go in public, people are going to ask, how did it happen? Were you born that way? Did you have a skiing accident? Was there a car accident? I think people are just always trying to figure things out. We feel better when things make sense to us. Have you ever seen like somebody do something tragic? You watch the news and you find out somebody murdered somebody or whatever, and you're in your mind going, how could they do that? Why would they do that? What were you thinking? I think it just makes us feel better when we can understand why somebody does something. Have you ever seen the movie Heaven is for Real? Do you remember that movie? Yeah, we've seen it. Savani. Did I say your name right? Timmy, who is your biggest inspiration?
I don't even know.
Who inspires you? Who inspires you to follow your dreams or be a better person?
God. Or Boris.
God or Boris. Wow. Well, at least you got it in the right order. Okay. Hey, Savani. Okay, let's see. Have you ever seen the series Highway to Heaven? I don't think so. I've heard of it. It's the one with Martin Landau, right? Martin Landau? Or Michael Landon. Michael Landon. I've heard of it. I don't think I've seen it. I think I saw some episodes of Touched by an Angel, though. Can you suggest my story about Dhar having big foreheads? You guys will have to reach out to him yourself. He probably gets so many social media things that you might want to try emailing him. It might be an easier way to get a hold of him on dharman.com. Verity says, hello, Timmy. Why did you start acting? Well, I did some plays in grade school. I don't know why I did it then. I don't know if it was something I had to do or something I decided to do on my own. Yes, Timothy is my son. I didn't just pick up a random kid for this Q&A. I'm just kidding.
Wait, someone has the Discord logo.
Oh, yeah? Ethan says he loves you. Francesca said she follows us. Okay. So I see what happens when I start reading I don't even remember what question I was answering. So I don't even know if I just answered your question. Okay, why do people cheat in relationships and have affairs? Well, it all starts with a story, right? It starts with a story in our head where we tell ourselves something isn't working. We don't like this about somebody. Somebody else is going to be better for us. They understand us better. My spouse ignores me. They don't give me the attention I need.
Question,
It all starts with a story.
Is Timothy going to be in a John Man video? Someday.
He hopes to. He hopes to. He's never been able to. I've suggested him for a couple of roles, but they never
Probably because of the fit incident.
So he says it's probably because of the fit incident. So he could be right. I don't know. So there was one time where I was going to shoot a Dhar Mann thing, and my babysitter flaked on me. So I had to take Timothy with me to work.
I played Roblox, and then, oh boy, I instantly regretted it.
Yeah, Timothy goes to the Dhar Mann office and instantly regrets it. That's the behind the scenes episode of why Timothy has never been in a Dhar Mann film. So I took him with me, and they have like this upstairs bedroom, and I put him in there. We were gonna go in the basement and shoot, and gave him all his snacks, gave him all his whatever he needed, and there was grown-ups just downstairs, and there was a bathroom up there. There was everything he needed, his games, his toys, his internet. We were gonna go downstairs and shoot for a couple hours. And I said, Timothy, whatever you do, do not leave this room. Dhar is downstairs working. You cannot bother any of the employees downstairs. They're doing their live glam work. There's nothing that you need. Everything is here. But what did he do? What do you suppose he did when we went downstairs? He went downstairs, and not just any employee. He didn't just go pester any old employee. He went downstairs and pestered Dhar Mann himself. Hey, I can't get my internet to work. Hey, my video games aren't working. We're downstairs shooting in the basement, and Ruben and John are getting these texts like, you gotta come up and deal with this kid. Okay, oh, you got your T-Rex. Yeah, T-Rex. So, yeah, you didn't stay in the room. So we had to like go upstairs and run interference and like, we ended up having to take him downstairs with us in the basement to shoot and have him try to be quiet there because he was being a little OCD, a little disruptive. I told you not to put that on there. So yeah, anyway, needless to say, Timmy thinks maybe that's why he's never been in a Dhar Mann video. I don't know. I don't think they would hold grudges like that. I think maybe they just didn't feel that it's appropriate for Timothy to be in one because he's technically not an actor. You know, they've had other special needs kids, but they're acting, they've trained, they're pursuing acting, that's their profession. I think, Timmy, you just want to be in one for fun, but do you think you would be able to do like 5 or 6 or 8 takes in a row? I think that's the truth. That he would be like after 1 or 2 takes, I can't stand anymore. My legs hurt. I want to play video games. So I don't, not that he's not capable. I think he just doesn't want it enough. But what I did, because Timothy had been begging me to be in a Dhar Mann video, so there's an Easter egg in one of the videos where I knew they were shooting a certain direction when we filmed in my house. So I put a picture of Timothy in it. So when you watch it, you know, we should do a video on all the Easter eggs in the Dhar Mann videos we've shot. Yeah, would that be good? So I'm not going to tell you which video Timmy had an appearance in as a picture on the bookshelf. So maybe we'll do that in a video. Is Dhar Mann Indian? He is Punjabi, so yes. Riley, I don't remember the name of the video. Okay, Verity, have a good day. You make such cool characters. Thank you. Do an Easter egg video. Yeah, I'll try to remember that. I have some videos coming up. Did you guys watch the one I put out Friday of the 8 Dhar Mann videos I was supposed to be in but wasn't? Did you guys like that? What are you doing, Timmy?
My turn for the Q&A.
Oh, Timmy says it's his turn for the Q&A.
Toy cars are for boys, not girls.
That was the video we were in for Supercar
Oh
Blondie.
wait, it's the old Discord logo. Discord changed the logo, and everyone was like, I don't like it.
Catherine,
I
you
don't
should
like it.
watch
I don't
The
like it.
Girl Who Always Believes in Miracles. It makes me cry. Aw. Do you love cats? You know, I always had dogs growing up. My husband always had cats growing up. And then I rescued a cat when we were living out here, and we had a cat for a long time. But Timothy is allergic to cats.
Yeah.
So we don't have cats anymore.
Also, by the way, I'm wearing my Minecraft shirt.
Yeah. Do you like raccoons? I don't know. Probably not. I've seen one in my backyard. Seen a possum back there too.
Eli.
Oh, Brahma, I'm sorry to hear you're getting bullied. Your son is so cute. How old is Timothy?
14.
13. I love your Minecraft shirt.
Thanks.
Did anybody think you were real mean in real life because of the Dhar Mann characters you've played? Yes. Yes, they have.
Yes, we have.
Yes, they have. I'm going to write that down. People assume. You can answer the questions.
Okay, let's answer the questions.
Real life. Easter eggs. Okay, I was just writing something down. Do you like the Piper Squad? You know, I don't know them enough to know whether I like them or not. I've never even heard of them until I did it.
What's your favorite color, Timothy? Red.
I never heard of them until Aiden asked me to be in one of their videos. Old is gold. Mona says you're a sweetheart, Timothy. Okay. Xna is 12 years old.
Yeah.
Do you like Blackpink? I went on Google Maps and I typed in Dhar Mann Studios. It's in Burbank, California. Yes, it is. Oh, now Eli wants to get in the action. You know, I don't know the science behind why I have two different colored eyes. I love hairless rodents, Lilies. Oh, Rada wants to know how much I earn per video. You know, a lot of acting in California, it depends on whether your project is SAG or whether it's not SAG. Now, SAG stands for the Screen Actors Guild. And if you work for the Screen Actors Guild...
Do you like Chick-fil-A? Not anymore. I like Carl's Jr. now.
He used to love Chick-fil-A, but now he loves Carl's Jr. Timmy has a thing about him where he will only have one favorite restaurant and then he will ban all other restaurants. He doesn't like having I like this place and this place and this place, but he only likes one thing at a time. If he's on a Kit Kat binge, he doesn't want to hear about Hershey's. And if he's on a Hershey's binge, he doesn't want to hear about Kit Kat or Reese's or anything. So, to answer your question, so if you're in the Screen Actors Guild, they have set rules for how much you get paid. So,
do you hate McDonald's?
So the union decides what the pay rate is. Well, Dhar Mann is not union. He doesn't abide by the union rules. So rather, he pays by the hour instead of the day. So a lot of productions pay you per day. So super low budget films, you might only get 125 or 150 a day. If it's a bigger budget film, you might get 300 a day or 500 a day.
Do you pay Piggy in Roblox? Yes, that whole game.
But if it's like a big budget shoot, like a big Brad Pitt movie, you might get $800, $900, or $1,000 a day. But he doesn't operate by those rules, so we're paid by the hour, which I don't know. It turns out to be okay if you work long
I
hours.
like this question. Old is gold. Gold.
Do you remember that video? Yeah, so I think he might have a different pay scale for each. I think maybe you start at a lower rate than where you end up.
That's it for me, y'all. I'm going to play some video games.
Video games, it's Sunday. We got just 1 minute left of questions, and then it'll be an hour. So, any last questions you have that you've been dying to ask?
Goodbye.
Any last questions?
Bye.
Oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? They want to know.
A video game designer. I mean, a dev. A video game dev.
A video game what?
Dev.
Dev? What's Dev?
You program games like this.
He wants to program games. Okay.
And
Do you know
make
who
games.
Gigi Granty is? I have been dying to ask. I don't know who that is. Timmy, do you have a Wii or a Switch? He's got both.
I have both. Yes, yes, yes,
Do
yes.
you listen to Ariana Grande? Do you listen to Ariana Grande, the singer? Someone wants to know what you do when you're off camera, when you're not on camera.
I play with my hands. It's called hand animation.
He plays with his hands. Okay, so I think that is it for today. I don't know. Did you guys like having Timmy on? Should we invite him back in some other time? Oh, Timmy, what's your favorite video game? They want to know.
Roblox and Minecraft and Monk and Halfway to episode 2.
Did you guys understand that? Okay. Oh, I think Daddy's awake, so we gotta go. We gotta go wish him Happy Father's Day. Goodbye, y'all. Have a wonderful Sunday.